Today, we're going to dive into the 2079 Manifesto from Nepal's Rastriya Swatantra Party, or the RSP. Now, that year, 2079, comes from the Nepali calendar. And what we're looking at here isn't just a list of promises. It's really a detailed blueprint for a country at a major turning point. Right from the cover, you get a sense of the tone they're setting. The main title, Bachapatra, that translates to promise paper. But it's the subtitle that really catches your eye. A resolve to establish order. That tells you this is meant to be a serious, no-nonsense plan for tackling some deep systemic issues. So, whenever a new political party steps onto the scene with such a bold vision, you have to ask, right? What exactly are they promising? What are the big ideas they think are going to completely transform the country? So let's do just that. We're going to break down the major agendas in this manifesto and really get a feel for the main pillars of their vision. We're going to look at 4 key themes. First up, their plans for totally reforming governance and the economy. Second, we'll see how they plan to create jobs and build out infrastructure. Third, and this is a really unique one, their strategy for engaging Nepalis living abroad. And finally, we'll see how all of this comes together into one big vision for transformation. Okay, so first on the list, reforming governance and the economy. The RSP makes it pretty clear that you can't build anything new on a shaky foundation. For them, that means you have to start by changing the way the government and the economy actually work. And you can see their thinking right here in their own summary of priorities. What's right at the top of the list? Number 1, rule of law and good governance. And number 2, creating a stable, medium-term economy. So they're not starting with flashy projects. They're starting with the system itself. So, what does that look like in the real world? Well, they're promising to put a stop to political meddling in state institutions. A huge piece of this is shifting all public services online, making everything digital, to cut through that infamous red tape. They're also talking about a public digital dashboard so you can see what's going on, all in the name of creating a corruption-free government. Now, on the economic side, the goals are just as concrete. They want stability, so they're targeting a really low 2% inflation rate. They also want to make sure the country has at least 3 months of foreign exchange reserves on hand, but then they set this very specific, very ambitious target for how much money people should be making. And that target is a per capita income of over $3,000. Think about that. This isn't just some vague promise of a better future. It's a hard number. It's a measurable goal for raising the entire nation's standard of living. And that solid economic foundation leads directly into the second major piece of their plan, creating jobs and seriously upgrading the country's infrastructure, both physical and digital. This is really the let's start building phase. And if we look back at their priority list, what do we see? Work, labor, and employment and connectivity are sitting right there as points 3 and 4. So you can see the logic, right? First, you stabilize the system. Then, you put people to work and connect the country. And the scale of what they're proposing here is huge. They're aiming to create 2.2 million new jobs. The strategy seems to be twofold. First, lean into Nepal's traditional strengths. We're talking tourism, agriculture, and so on. At the same time, they want to attract foreign investment and really empower a new generation of young entrepreneurs. Their infrastructure goals are just as big. They draw a sharp contrast between vague promises and their own specific targets. So it's not just let's expand the road network, it's let's build a 30,000-kilometer national highway grid. It's not let's improve the internet, it's let's get high-speed access to every single settlement in the country. See the difference? Yeah, just let that number sink in for a second. 30,000 kilometers. We're talking about a vision for a fully connected Nepal, where physical distance is no longer a barrier to opportunity. All right, on to the third pillar. And this one is really fascinating because it's a core part of their strategy, the plan for engaging the Nepali diaspora. They frame this as a vital global partnership, not just some side project. And the big idea here is that the RSP sees Nepalis living abroad as more than just people sending money home. They see them as this huge, untapped resource of knowledge, capital, and skills. For a country that's experienced a brain drain, this is a really strategic move to try and turn it into a brain gain. So, to make this partnership a reality, they're promising some very concrete policies. Things like creating a clear, simple framework for people to invest back home, making sure non-resident citizenship rights are protected, and, this one's a big deal, guaranteeing the right for Nepalese abroad to vote in elections. So we've looked at the building blocks, better governance, more jobs, and bringing the diaspora into the fold. Now, let's zoom out and see the grand story that ties this all together, their complete vision for transformation. The manifesto is actually pretty blunt about the starting point. They have this section here which they call 10 glimpses of the current situation. It highlights the exact problems they want to solve. Corruption, weak infrastructure, a digital divide, you name it. This is their point A. And then, right after laying all that out, they show you this. This is their point B. It's a clear set of goals for the future. We're talking about full digital governance, becoming energy independent, having comprehensive social security. It's a very powerful before and after picture. And they frame this entire project with an incredible sense of urgency. This quote from their call to action says it all. For the majority, this is the last chance to change the country's misfortune. So according to them, the stakes just couldn't be any higher. So the RSP has laid out its plan. It's detailed, it's definitely ambitious, and it's full of those hard numbers we talked about. But it leaves all of us with one big question to think about. Can a document full of promises, no matter how detailed, truly become the roadmap for a nation's future?